Hello and welcome to my IMC assignment to submission. This is Jared Garth, student number U3165479. So my concept and approach. So RICO is a global organisation that's typically associated with print devices, but as our landscape has shifted, RICO has also shifted into a new area of products and services, which typically isn't known to a lot of the customers in our market, and especially down in Geelong where I'm residing. So the campaign focuses on alerting potential customers and raising awareness to our offerings outside of our core photocopies and print, which everyone usually knows about, and more so about our services around productivity and mobility and agility. We do have a huge national marketing budget, but regionally in Geelong, there's not a lot of reach down here, and it does it is a separate market to itself, even though we are just up the road from Melbourne, which is obviously a huge capital city. So the campaign objectives and goals, so raise awareness for RICO within our local market, inform the targeted businesses of RICO's suite of products outside of our print offering, focus on RICO as a business process, software and communications provider rather than print devices and being transactionally based. Reinforce RICO's positioning as a market leader in collaboration and communication, obviously drive interest and in turn sales activities, and also to promote our partnerships with well-known technology organisations like Microsoft, IBM, etc. So this is a cadence of my IMC campaign, how I've planned it out, and how I'm going to deliver each of my messages and which vehicles I'm going to use. So this is my first activity, which was a 6-minute keynote presentation delivered to a local business club. There wasn't a video embedded on this, but it wouldn't let me create the video with narration, so I'm going to, if you can't click that link below, I'm also going to add a link into my assignment submission so you can watch it then. This is a link to a video summarising our workplace technologies, so it just raises awareness outside of our print offering, which is obviously aligned with my campaign goal. Another one that's aligned around productivity and employee engagement, so this centres around meetings and our electronic whiteboard offering, which has been really popular so far in the market. You can see I had 556 views on this post, so that was quite received. So a week after I delivered my presentation, I uploaded the video so I could share it on LinkedIn through my network, and also put it up on YouTube if people prefer to view it on YouTube. As you can see, I've had 1,400 views from a variety of C-suite executives, different companies, and surprisingly not my biggest audiences in Melbourne. So this was actually really well received and took off. There's a Facebook event that I created for an open day for RICO Geelong where I'll provide breakfast for participants and we can have an informal look at the technology that we have to offer and discuss ways that it may be able to help small business in being more productive and getting more from their employees. This is a blog entry that I did on LinkedIn, which is reasonably well received as well. I've got quite a few comments and likes and shares, even though it doesn't actually reflect it there. This is a screenshot from originally, but it speaks about the demise of the corporate meeting and how it's, I guess, derided in most instances by employees now as being a waste of time and really not considered to be a crucial part of the employee's day. And I guess I'm just looking at ways in which we can re-engage with employees and make it more, more important to them as part of their work day, and some of the technology that we can use to drive this engagement. This is the second half of my blog page, if you'd like to read it. So it speaks about the two products that I'll speak about are electronic whiteboards and our virtual meeting room service, which aligns to our campaign objectives of raising awareness of non-print offerings and also driving productivity within the customer's business. So in evaluation of my integrated campaign, the objectives as shown on slide 2 haven't changed. Raise awareness of the Rico brand, inform people of our suites outside of print, and our collaboration and communication services, raising awareness for them as well. So the segmenting, targeting and positioning segment I performed as part of this assignment was because I work in a B2B landscape rather than B2C, as much of the module content was alluding to. I employed firmographics in order to segment my markets, which basically looks at dividing companies into groups based on data such as where they are, who their customers are, how many employees they have, their annual revenue, their performance, their position in the market, and many other key considerables. Then I also considered these companies in a behavioural sense, such as what do they do as a core business, how do they buy, or how do they acquire similar products to mine, what's important to them, is it price, is it speed, convenience, reliability, service. So this has allowed me to narrow down on my target market and focus my messaging. So the overall strategy and concept behind the campaign is obviously to increase awareness within the local marketplace, focused on productivity and efficiency. So the firmographics and data that I used to, build out my strategy and concept were organisations between 5 and 20 employees, between 1 and 5 million annual turnover. So that leaves us with a pretty good cross-section of the small medium business market. Must be based in the Geelong area and operating as a commercial business, as opposed to schools or education sectors or larger type companies. Industries who are experiencing changing market conditions, not too dissimilar to Rico. So companies who are trying to find an edge where over their competition in a really challenging market. Companies that have a need for communication technology and rely on prompt and secure access to their data and information. So what I'm doing here is filtering out, organisations that really won't have a need for my technology, like manual workers, landscape gardeners, gyms. The list could go on. That's just a short summary. So implementation, execution. So having successfully segmented my target marketing and decided on messaging, I was then needed to consider a creative IMC campaign to achieve the goal. So the products and services that I wish to raise awareness for are usually purchased using a CPM model or train of thought, and important to this is the functional and integrated positioning techniques. So what I mean by that is people who buy these products are not driven by feelings or desires or emotions. It's driven by a hard and fast need, a product that fits in with their requirements but also their budgets and how they wish to operate. So it's much more like buying necessary equipment rather than things that give you pleasure. As a result of this, I decided the best way for me to engage the decision makers of these businesses would be a mixture of online content and in-person events, because I still believe that people buy from people, especially in a local and regional market such as this. People want to see you around. They want you to be visible. They want to know that if they pick up the phone, then you also pick up the phone and be contactable. So there's a degree of accountability that comes into it. The online part of my campaign is centred around providing information and provoking thoughts by using video, blogs and events to drive my message, whereby the in-person component is crucial to the overall success of a campaign, because even though Rico is a global business with over 100,000 employees, you need to be personable and approachable, and it's difficult to achieve with solely online campaign, especially done out of the marketing departments, because it's generally a bit faceless and very flash and pretty, but it doesn't give the impression that there's a person that will pick up the phone if you answer. So my campaign was planned and executed over a 2-week period, with a new marketing message or information piece being offered every second day over a variety of media. I think the cadence of my messaging delivery was well considered, but I probably could have supplemented the off days with some smaller bite-sized pieces of content or some white papers or something to that effect. Should I have to do this again? Sorry, there we go. So LinkedIn was preferred for me because it's without doubt got the greatest volume of professionals who use the site on a professional basis, as opposed to Facebook or Instagram, whereas it's generally they act on those sites as a person or as their own personality rather than their professional personality. Also, I guess it's more accepted for employees to be using LinkedIn during the workday, which is generally when I add my content. I supplemented my LinkedIn activity with video content on YouTube, which is obviously really well received for ranking in Google, but also people like videos, and it's much easier to come across as a personable entity on YouTube in a video than it is on LinkedIn. Also created an event on Facebook, which I don't think was really the right medium for me, being a B2B IMC campaign. And also, I didn't use Twitter as part of my IMC mix, but having reflected now, I probably should have done that. Twitter it's really good at messages going viral if they strike a chord among the general public, and there's a lot of social goodwill to be had out of that if you get your messages right. Obviously, it can go the other way if your messages aren't quite on point. But I do think Twitter, even though it is a little bit more social than LinkedIn and more along the lines of Facebook, people are more accepting to being marketed to on Twitter, and it's happening more and more often. So I think I probably should have incorporated this into my mix. In conclusion, it's my first attempt at coordinating an IMC campaign, and the results have been fair. I was really happy with that activity around my LinkedIn efforts, and especially my YouTube video, which has had 35 views now. It says 30 there, but I'm up to 35 now, and also had 1,600 views on LinkedIn. Quite a few comments in there. So I was quite happy with my LinkedIn work, and that solidified my position in thinking that LinkedIn was the best medium for me to drive this campaign. I feel as though the connect I was able to make between a live in-person presentation and online activity was well received and had reasonable cut through. As I said earlier, I think people still buy from people, and there needs to be a personable element to the IMC campaign that sometimes does go missing when you're marketing on a national level, as Rico generally do. So I was quite happy with that. This being said, there was obviously a lot of room for improvement in this campaign, and with a suitable budget, I think we could have a far greater reach and impact. Obviously, if I did have a nice big budget to work with, I'd be looking at some SEO, SEM efforts, investing in some AdWords, and probably have a specific landing page for this type of message, just to drive a little bit more traffic and hopefully capture some customer data. I'd also look to divest into Twitter and spread some of my messages through the Twitter sphere, for something different. But yeah, I thought it was a fair effort, and the results have been okay. But obviously we could improve with budget. But I'm reasonably happy with my campaign. Thank you.